Hey, this is Jamie from Stonemaier Games, and I'm excited to share with you one of my first videos for favorite games and gaming-related products in 2022. I'm going to start off these various lists. I mean, there will be a list of my favorite games of 2022, or games that I played for the first time in 2022. But today, I wanted to delve into somewhat spoiler territory here. You can see some of the stacks of games that I will talk about here. But I'm going to talk about my favorite sequels and new editions of games. This is, I think, a huge trend that I've seen in the game industry over the last few years, to the point that almost as many games that I play, well, it feels like this, almost as many great games that I play are sequels or new editions instead of completely new games designed from scratch. And I think this is great. I think it's great that designers and publishers are willing to go back and revisit older games and find a way to renew them and refresh them and streamline them, sometimes make them more complex, and add new components, add new art, kind of address all the things that could make these games as good as they could possibly be. I do, just to flesh out this list a little bit, I do have two Stonemaier games that will be on this list because we happen to also have two new editions of games on this year's list. And I decided not to put Wingspan Asia on it. Wingspan Asia could have classified for this because it is a standalone game for 1 to 2 players. And so in some ways it is a sequel to Wingspan as a game, but it's also very much an expansion. And so I'll talk about it a little bit more when I talk about my favorite expansions of 2022. So won't be mentioning that today, but it probably could have qualified. I just figure I'll be talking about it soon in the expansion category anyway. So let's jump in to the first game on this list, and it is Betrayal Legacy. So Betrayal Legacy is a legacy version of the classic game Betrayal at House on the Hill, which I actually have not played the original. My only context for this game has been the legacy version of the game. So far, I have played 4 episodes of it. So I still have a lot more to explore, and I do look forward to continuing to play. I like how the game doesn't outstay its welcome. It's lasted around 60 to 75 minutes every time we've sat down to play a game. And we even played last time under candlelight, which is kind of a spooky way to play this. We're playing with a total of 4 players. In Betrayal, the whole hook in Betrayal is that you are returning to this house over many years, kind of your new generation returning to the house. And in the middle of each game, or sometime during each game, a betrayal will happen, a twist will happen, and one of the players, the game will kind of shift from a cooperative game to a one versus many game with an asymmetric information element to it, where the cooperative players, the players who are working together to defeat the betrayer, know some information that the betrayer does not, and vice versa. The betrayer has some secret things that they're trying to do, and you're trying to figure out what they're trying to do. Which I think is a really cool asymmetry of information. I think asymmetry of information is something I'd like to see more in games in general. And I think it does it really well. And also the unlocks are fun. I don't want to spoil anything there, but we've unlocked some cool stuff that has made the experience really nice. I put it at number 10 on the list, partially because we haven't finished it, and partially because it is definitely not even close to a 2022 release. I believe it was released in 2018 or 2019. And I've tried to focus most of the games on this list to games that I've not only played for the first time this year, but also that were released this year or very close to this year. So that's Betrayal Legacy at number 10. At number 9, we have one of our games, Between Two Cities Essential Edition. Basically, what we did for this new edition is that we combined the original Between Two Cities game, in which it's a competitive game where you are partnering temporarily with the players on your right and left to build cities with both of them. And the lower scoring of your 2 cities is the one that scores for you, that counts for you at the end of the game. So you're trying to balance those two. You don't want to tank one of those cities and just have one really good one. You want to balance the two so that maybe you end up scoring 58 for one city and 60 for another, and 58 is the score that you would represent at the table at the end of the game. So that is one of the twists in it. We combined that original core game with the expansion, the Capitals expansion, and we took 2 of the modules from that expansion, both the landscapes and the civic tiles, a new tile type, and we just incorporated them into the core game because we think it kind of just made sense for the game. The game is very easy to teach and play, and the landscape mats really kind of bring each city to life on the table. It's beautiful art from Beth Sobel. The landscape mats in particular, the other art is done by other artists who also did a wonderful job. But those landscape mats really, I think, bring together the table presence, and they add just a little bit of starting asymmetry to each of those cities. So yeah, we released a new edition this year. It sold out very quickly, a little faster than we even thought, and so we're printing more right now. But this is the Stonemaier game. Feel free to discount it if you don't want to count it for this list. But again, I wanted to flesh out this list with a full array of 10 different games. So Between Two Cities Essential Edition is my number 9 pick for this list. At number 8 on the list, I have Caper Europe. So I actually wasn't even aware of the original game Caper. So this is another one where I have not played the original game, but I did play Caper Europe. It's a 2-player game with heist theme to it and kind of tug-of-war elements a little bit. Feels a little bit like tug-of-war, maybe a little bit like area control over different parts of the board, where you are playing cards, you're drafting, and then you're playing cards on the table to execute 3 different heists. And I believe the number is 3, and hopefully doing better at the heist than the other players. And I also, as part of this, there are a bunch of different modes of play or locations that you can play. I believe they're based on different continents, but they might be different cities. It's been a little while since I played it. But I thought it was a really fun 2-player game. I love tug-of-war in games. It has a nice tension to it, and I like the replayability by creating those different modes of play, those different locations of play that have slightly different rules when you play them. So that's Caper Europe, number 8. And number 7 is Long Shot, the dice game. Again, eventually I'll stop saying this. Yeah, this is the last one. So this is the last game on this list where I have not played the original Long Shot, which I believe is a much older game. Long Shot, the dice game, is a game that scales up to, I believe, 8 players. It scales up really well. I've only played it once. I want to play it again, but I've only played it once, and I played it at 2 players, and it was still really enjoyable, which I think is quite a feat that a game can be just as enjoyable maybe at 2 players, or at least enjoyable at 2 players, and also scale up well to 8 players. It's a game of horse racing where you have these horses that are going around a track. They only go around the track once. The game definitely does not outstay its welcome. And over the course of the game, you are kind of choosing on which horses to bet on. You're choosing which horses to bet on. And you're also ending up owning some of the horses. So you don't start off the game owning any horses at all, but you can end up doing that. And those horses can give you special powers. And similar to a little bit like Downforce, when one horse moves, when you do one thing in the game and primarily moving one horse, other horses may move as well, which I really like that mechanism, that even when when the horse that you want, or when it isn't your turn, that things are happening that feel good related to you. But yeah, it's been too long since I played this game. I really did enjoy it at 2 players. I want to play it again at a higher player count, have everyone cheering at the table for these different horses that are racing around the track. And so right now it's my number 7 game on this list, Long Shot, the dice game. Now I'm finally getting to the 6 games on this list where I have played the original game, some of them even quite a few times. And the first one on that list is Namiji, the sequel to Tokaido. Now I have heard that there have been some big problems with fulfillment and kind of the Kickstarter version of this game. I think I just got lucky with it. And if I hadn't heard that, I wouldn't have known it, I guess. But I got the game, I think, I'm a Kickstarter backer, and I happened to get it in the first batch. And so I've been playing this game for quite some time and enjoying it for quite some time. I feel a little guilty saying that because I know some people are waiting on it. It's very similar to Tokaido, except there are different mini games in it. So the idea in this game and Tokaido is that you are moving along a one-way action selection track, or one-way benefit track, one-way time track, many different ways of saying that, as far as you want, up to a certain point, and gaining the benefit that you land on. And the current player, the player whose turn it is the one who is the farthest back. The slight difference in this game is that you're moving around a circular board instead of a one-way path in Tokaido. It ends up being the same thing, though, because you're not actually doing multiple loops around this circle. You're just doing one loop. But I really love the different mini games. They have 2 different push your luck mini games in here. One is related to fishing, and what was the other one? I can't remember now, but there's 2 push your luck games. I love push your luck in games, and I like that they put more than one in there. And there's kind of I think the other push your luck game is where you actually place the fish on your mat, which is connected to the fish that you grab. But yeah, it just has a lot of really nice little mini games in it. I love games that have mini games, especially when you can kind of choose the mini games that you want to engage in. So if there's one that you enjoy more than others, or if there are cards that incentivize you to push towards certain mini games over others, I think that's awesome. And I've really enjoyed my plays of Namiji so far. That's Namiji at number 6. We're in the top 5 here, and I do have another one of our games, the second one of the Stonemaier games on this list, and that is Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. I have a special place in my heart for Libertalia, and it was an incredible experience for me to work with Paolo Mori to bring this new edition of the game to life. In Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest, and in the original Libertalia, you are pirates who are kind of meeting up. You're sending a crew member to meet up with the crew members of the other pirates. You're playing these cards simultaneously, and you're deciding how you're going to divide up some loot and bring that loot and hopefully your character back to your ship. We have, in Libertalia Winds of Galecrest, there are 40 different pirates, and all players throughout the game have the same pirate. So you randomize these pirates, you pick 6 of them, and all players use those 6 same pirates. And any pirates that you don't play carry over to the next round. You play over 3 rounds, and the same, or not the same, but 6 new pirates are selected, and all players gain those 6 new pirates to their hand, added to any pirates that were left over from the previous hand. When I first played the original Libertalia, like 10 years ago, that whole thing blew my mind. The whole idea of playing simultaneously and using the exact same cards as other players, but having such different strategies emerge based on when you play those cards and when you think other players are going to play those cards and which cards that you hold over. I think it's just a brilliant game, and that's why it was such a pleasure to work on it with Paolo. We added new things to the game, like I think an improvement on the 2-player mode, an improvement to we added something called Reputation, which helps with the tiebreakers in the game. We clarified some of the wording and added little twists to a lot of the pirates, and we added 10 new pirates. There's all sorts of stuff that we added to this game. And I happened to just play it again. Some people brought it up at game night and wanted to play it, so I just happened to play it with 5 players just the other night. And I still have so much fun playing Libertalia. So I hope you've had the chance to try it. I love this game, and I love the new version. I love the version that we made. Yeah, so Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest at number 5 on this list. At number 4, I have Clank Catacombs. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Clank is a dungeon diving or dungeon delving deck building game where you're building a deck, you're sending a little explorer meeple down into a dungeon to collect treasures, collect artifacts, to fight monsters, to gain new cards in your deck that are hopefully worth some points. It's just a really satisfying, feel-good game. As I mentioned in my video about Clank Catacombs, I love the lockpick mechanism that they added to this game. The lockpick mechanism uses these little lockpick tokens to either unlock doors permanently, so you can move more smoothly through the different passages, and other players can then also move through those passages. And you can also use lockpicks to unlock doors, not those like treasure-oriented doors or treasure chest or jail cells to unlock some prisoners. There's all these like little mini game type things that you can unlock with these lockpicks. So you're deciding, do I want to use this for movement or do I want to use it for rewards? Just a really, really clever system. The big hook in this game is the reason that maybe it isn't that it isn't my number 1 game on this list, and that I also want to give it more plays. The hook in the game is that instead of using a board, it uses randomized tiles, which feels really neat. You're venturing out into the unknown, and then you're orienting the tile as you wish. You can see, here's an example here, orienting the tile as you wish. And in the first play, I was so excited about that mechanism. It didn't quite pan out quite as well as I hoped. Like, it kind of made for a very chaotic dungeon that was very difficult to plan for, not just as you delve into it, but also as you want to get out. And most of us died in that first play. So I want to play it again and play it better. I think certainly a certain amount of accountability is on me there to play it better and have a better experience, choose to have a better experience. But it also really, it made me really, really appreciate the original designs of the boards and how well constructed they are and how they let you plan ahead for the paths and how there's still uncertainty on when you move back. Which path do you want to take as you move back and try to run out of the dungeon? But I still really enjoy the game. I'm really excited to get back to the table and see how I feel about it the second time and see how other players feel about it. Clank Catacombs, my number 4 favorite, sorry, not 3, my number 4 favorite sequel/new edition of an existing game in 2022. Number 3, big box here, the Castles of Mad King Ludwig Collector's Edition. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. I love castles. I've actually never owned it, but I love this game. This is a game about building a castle. You're going to use these oddly shaped tiles and piece them together, and you gain rewards when you do so. You gain rewards when you place a tile, and also you gain rewards when you close off all the doors of any given tile. So it often means when you're playing a tile, you're gaining two rewards, two types of rewards, and that feels really good. Each of the rooms has a different type of reward that you get when you complete it. This game is kind of, it's the original game, but easier to get to the table, I think. Because of the different inserts available in the game. It also looks better, I think, on the table. The art is redone and is really, really beautiful in this game. And it has a beautiful table presence, and also has a new mechanism in it. They added something called towers that feel really good as well. It's been a little while since I played it, but I believe how towers work is that you'll place the tower in your castle, and there's actually these big miniatures that go on the tower. And when you get the tower, you get a secret goal that is scored for all players at the end of the game. It's one of those goals that says like whoever has the most square rooms gets a special bonus at the end of the game. But only you know that secret. So you can hide it under your tower and you only reveal it to the other players at the end of the game. Hopefully I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, I love castles, and this is just more and better castles of Magic and Ludwig. So I love the game. It's my number 3 on the list this year. And if it's that good, you know that the top 2 games are really, really good. Number 2 really caught me off guard. And it's not a game that I own, but it's Terra Nova. Terra Nova is my number 2 game on this list. And it surprised me because I love and know Terra Mystica so well. And that's the game that it's kind of a streamlined sequel to Terra Mystica. I love and know Terra Mystica so well. And so I wasn't actually really all that interested in Terra Nova when I heard it was coming out. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I have Terra Mystica. I'll just play that. But having played Terra Nova, I really, really like it. I don't think I would choose it over Terra Mystica if I had the time and if I was playing with people who already knew it. But Terra Nova can definitely be played in around 60 to 75 minutes. So it is a medium weight game instead of a heavy game. It's easier to teach. It doesn't take quite as much brain power, but you're still making tons of interesting choices throughout the game. And it's just good. I mean, they cut some things that I liked, and they cut some things that I didn't dislike, but just that I don't miss. Like they cut the cult tracks. I found that I don't miss that as much. There's fewer ways to like extend your round, and I found that to be okay. I still had a really, really good time playing this. And twice now, I've already gotten back to the table, even though I just played it for the first time a few weeks ago. So yeah, Terra Nova also has the asymmetry that I loved about Terra Mystica, and the whole thing where you're removing things from your player mat, making your player mat better, making your income better. It's just really good. They did a really, really good job with it. I love Terra Nova. It was very tough to pick between that and my number 1 game on this list. But yeah, Terra Nova at number 2 on my favorite new editions of 2022. But my number 1 game, definitely a surprise to me, actually. Good. No spoilers here. But my number 1 sequel is Marvel Dice Throne. This was a huge surprise to me because my primary gaming partner, especially for 2-player games and campaign games, which this is a 2-player. Well, this game plays at many player counts. Primarily plays at 2. But my primary gaming partner at 2 players is Megan, and Megan didn't really love the original version of Dice Throne. We don't even really know why that is, because this is essentially just more Dice Throne with different characters. But we had a blast playing this together, and it was a lot of fun for me as someone in a relationship with Megan to see her have so much fun with it, and I think that made me have even more fun with it. And also, I love Marvel, and I already love the Dice Throne system. This is a game that is basically Yahtzee with a lot of stuff added to it, where on your turn you are attacking the other player. You have your own unique character. You're attacking the other player and rolling and re-rolling dice in the hopes of having a really great combination. And you choose one different ability to activate those dice. So if you have a straight, then you would choose a straight ability to attack your opponent and hopefully deal a bunch of damage and hopefully activate some of your cool asymmetric abilities. I think the Marvel theme is really well done here. We really felt like we were playing these different Marvel characters. And the way we played this game is that we had a little round-robin tournament. So we pitted, so there are eight characters in this big box, this Kickstarter version, and we pitted 2 different characters against each other in a little mini bracket, and then we had those characters advance, and we didn't always play the same characters. So like I played Loki in the first round, and I won, and then I didn't win another game ever. Megan won all the other games, and I still had a blast. And I think Megan played Loki much later and played Loki in pretty much the same, similar way. It's the same character, But it was neat seeing, like, you know, I played Loki, but I wasn't attached to her. She played, or attached to him. Megan played Loki. It's just really, really well done, especially if you like Dice Throne. If you have a partner that enjoys this dueling style of game or who loves Marvel. And I will always remember doing that little 8 tournament. Even if I don't play it again, I think I will. I've held on to it because I think we will play it again in the future. But even if I don't play it again, it felt like we had our own little mini campaign experience with that 8 character bracket. And that might be one of my fondest gaming memories of 2022. So yeah, that's why it's my number 1 favorite sequel or new edition of a game in 2022. I'd love to hear what this is for you. There are even more games, even more sequels and new editions. And again, this is not my favorite game list of 2022. This is my favorite sequel and new edition list. So let me know in the comments, what did I miss that you have played, new sequels, new editions, that you've enjoyed in this year? And yeah, if anything I missed or anything that I covered that you really enjoyed as well, let me know what you love about them in the comments below. Thanks.